Hey guys, so if you follow me over on Instagram, you already know that I've been running a series on loving your ballet body. And in this series of posts, I've shared some stories of friends of mine who, in coming to ballet, it has really helped them to accept and love certain parts of their body. Those are the most beautiful stories, and they are something that I really want to highlight because ballet can be a very healing and therapeutic art form. But through those series, I also share my own story in which ballet is sort of the impetus that led to my own hatred of my body and disordered eating, over-exercise, and just seeing my body as the enemy. And that is too common of a story. And actually, that is the reason I started this series of posts, because after hearing my beautiful friend's story of how ballet helped her to embrace her height and just love her body, I was so inspired, and it made me so sad that that isn't the usual narrative. And so many dancers I know are affected by negative body image, and that can lead to some really unhealthy behaviors. So when I started this series, I had no idea that this week was National Eating Disorders Awareness Week. So I really feel like it's serendipity, but of course it's always good to be talking about this. So I want to start by just giving you a brief overview of my own story. I'm sure you know this if you've been around, but I didn't start ballet until I was 14, and I had no issues with my body except maybe that I wanted some more curves. And then it wasn't really until I got serious about ballet, deeper in ballet, and a little bit older. I think I was around 17, and I was on my own at that point, kind of in charge of my own food. I had gone through puberty and I had gained a little bit of weight. But I remember a conversation with a teacher specifically who pulled me aside after class and told me about what their diet was when they were dancing professionally. Now, I know that this teacher cared about me and cared about my success, but unfortunately, that conversation really changed the way that I looked at my body. I remember going home kind of confused because I had never been given diet advice like that. And I saw my body completely differently, seeing my body in the mirror and seeing all of the flaws and just thinking, wow, this is how people see me, and being so horrified and embarrassed. And it really led to a downward spiral of disordered eating and over-exercising, just punishing my body and feeling shame and guilt over food and over my body, which ultimately led me into a pretty deep depression that I didn't even know was depression at the time, because it didn't feel like sadness. It really just felt like nothing. And that is what ultimately led to me leaving dance for a while. And I never got any professional help, although I wish I could go back. I wish I would have, because I think that anytime you are going through something like that, it is so helpful to have someone alongside you, to have someone that you can talk to have someone that can really help you. I actually didn't even know that I really had disordered eating because it didn't fall under the distinct characteristics of anorexia and bulimia. So I thought that I was just being disciplined or being healthy, but some of the habits that I went about with my food were completely disordered and really very unhealthy. Then after I left dance, I kind of bounced back a little bit. But healing isn't linear, and we now know that there is a form of disordered eating called orthorexia, which is an obsession with healthy eating, right? And I definitely went right down that path after I left dance, because it was still a form of control. It was still a form of being right and being good. So whenever someone struggles with disordered eating or an official eating disorder, it's never just about body image. There's always something deeper underneath the surface, a struggle with shame, with worthiness. There's always something else going on, and I can really look back on it now and see that all throughout my life I was terrified of people disapproving of me. I was such a people pleaser. I still struggle with tendencies like that. I really thought that I could prove my worth with my ability to be disciplined, with my ability to be good and to be right. I had so much of my ego wrapped up in ballet and in my body. But any day that maybe I thought that I didn't measure up or I didn't get the right kind of feedback that I was craving, I thought that I had failed and that I needed to go harder, and it just created this really horrible cycle. So in doing this series on Instagram, it's really the first time that I've talked publicly about my negative body image and my disordered eating. But I think it's so important. Just in the little sharing that I've done on Instagram this week, I've had lots of people reach out to me with their stories, and it breaks my heart. It is not okay that this is something that so many dancers are dealing with. And young dancers, that is what really gets me fired up and passionate, that so many of these comments come to women, girls really, when they're transitioning to becoming women. So when you're going through that beautiful process, to have somebody come and tell you that you should be ashamed of your body and that your body doesn't measure up, just makes me so angry. So I have 3 girls, and in having my kids, that was a huge part of my journey to healing. As soon as I found out that I was having a girl, I knew I had to start working hard on my body image, because I did not want my daughters to inherit a negative view of their bodies, and I just knew that I would never want a daughter of mine to treat herself the way that I treated myself, or to, think the thoughts that I've thought about myself. And it didn't happen magically when I gave birth. It was still quite a journey. And in the process of becoming a mother, just in the last few years have I come to really try to work on mothering myself. That has made all of the difference. I have such an amazing relationship with my body now. I like to say that we're very close, which sounds funny, but as a dancer and as someone who has struggled with body hate and going through everything that I've gone through, I now am so intimately connected with my body, and I care deeply for it, and I respect it. Our bodies do so much for us. Our bodies are doing the best they can with what we give them and with how we treat them. So once I started to stop seeing my body as something to overcome, which I know a lot of dancers do. We see our bodies as getting in the way, right? Like this machine that isn't working the way that we want, and we need to beat it into submission. We need to overcome our body to get the success that we want, which is totally the wrong way. We need to work with our bodies. We need to view our bodies as our support system, as our paintbrush, as the artist. This is our tool to make art. And we have to nourish it, we have to care for it, and we have to respect it. The point of today's conversation is for any of you that are still struggling with this, I just want you to know that there is hope and there is healing. And you don't have to go through this journey alone. So reach out. You can reach out to me. I'm available. I have my email address in the description box below, and I'm happy to talk to anyone about this. I'm very passionate about this topic. Reach out to someone that you trust. Just start the conversation. Or you can call the National Eating Disorders Association. I'll leave the number right here. But healing is available. Take the first step. reach out, start talking. I highly encourage you guys to check out that series that I did over on Instagram on loving your ballet body. If you're not following me on Instagram yet, it's just the whole point. And if you come from YouTube, please DM me. I would love to connect with you there. I share stories, like I said, of my friends who ballet has really helped them to love their bodies. Those are the stories that I really love. They're so inspiring, and it just really goes to show how wonderful ballet can be. How joyous and healing and therapeutic. I love dancing now. It is one of the ways that I continue to heal my relationship with my body by fully inhabiting my body and just enjoying the way that it feels when it moves and enjoying the feeling of dancing. There's so much that I could say about it. Like I said, this is one of my favorite topics, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here because I know this is getting a little long. If you guys are interested in me talking more about my journey to loving my body, let me know in the comments below. And also, if you'd be interested in me doing a video on intuitive eating, which is another thing that has really helped me to heal my relationship with my body, and I'm super passionate about that as well, let me know in the comments. I care about you guys so much, so thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.